Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me. Before we get started today, all the products we're using, all the dimensions will be listed below. Also below is my link to my online store. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to help you. My email address is there, and also a link to my Facebook group. We'd love to have you join us. Also remember that we only have a few more days left of celebration, and it is while supplies last, so please get your orders in as soon as possible. On my last video, I mentioned my Lazy Susan and the containers I keep all my work and stuff in. And I said I was thinking about redoing these because they're very old. They are starting to fall apart and break, and you know, I've had some of these for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I think the oldest one's maybe 4 or 5 years old. I actually have a little clip holding the two together, but I wanted to show you what they look like this way. I'm going to move this back and then bring one over so you can see what it looks like. Get that Lazy Susan back over there so I can work. This is one of them. I have two. I pretty much keep office supplies on one side and my crafting stuff on another, but you could do one or two or as many as you needed. I have them on a Lazy Susan, a little easier for me when I'm filming. And basically these are all the colors we're going to be using in the next project we're making, and I have glue and tape and tear and tape and dimensionals and post-its and pins and pokey tools and everything. And these boxes all do come out. They're all different sizes, little ones for these. So what I would like to know is if you are interested in seeing how I constructed this project. If you are interested, put a comment in this video or send me an email, and then we will go from there. But I just wanted to get your input of something that you would be interested in seeing how to make. I find it very helpful. I'm going to clip my things back together. The clip also helps it not to fall apart when I remove the Lazy Susan. So on with the project for today. I have to move a few things around because I needed the space to move the Lazy Susan. So what we're making today is a really cute little card, and we're using more celebration items. The envelope's just stamped "It's Your Day," and this is a floating gatefold card with our little owl, and this is Calypso Coral Ribbon, and I'm going to tell you how you can make Calypso Coral Ribbon. It is an open weave ribbon, and we don't have Calypso Coral in open weave, but I will show you in a little bit. And it unties, and our little birthday owl's on the front. And when you open it, out pops these cute little 2 owls. And they just float in the air. It sits up like this. And then, on the back, it says happy birthday. Now mine is sort of a messy one here on the back of this because I'm going to show you what not to do. When I put this card together, I put this and this on upside down. So when I opened the card, all my birds were this way. So I tried to fix it the best I could because it was my sample, and it was like 9 o'clock last night. And so that's what I went with. But I'm going to show you how not to do that. Okay? Learn from my mistakes. Anyhow, this is what we're making. So, but of course, I changed colors. First, we're going to start with some Granny Apple Green. That is 8.5 by 5.5. And then I'm going to grab a few more product out here. And I'm also going to grab 2 other pieces. I'm grabbing all the pieces that have to be scored. And then we have 2 pieces of Granny Apple Green that are 1 inch by 5 1/4. This is the mechanism that makes our folding gatefold work. So let's get these scored first. And this is your standard measurements for a gatefold, which is 2 1/8. Flip it over. Make sure I've got it lined up right. 2 1/8. So we'll come back to that in just a second. And then the two little pieces, we're going to score both of these the same. We're going to score out. Oop, try not to move things. 1 inch. 2 inches. And 4.5. We'll set that aside. We're going to do this one the same. 1 inch. 2 inches. And 4.5. So we'll set that away so we already have all the scoring done. So next we need to start building the card. We have lots of pieces. And we're going to start on the inside piece first and work our way forward. So the inside piece and the back piece, there's a piece of black, which is 4 by 5 3/8. One is going to have DSP on it. And this DSP is from the Dandy Designs DSP. I did not bring out the large pack. And this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So that's going on one of these. And this one is going to have a piece of white that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And this is for the back of our card. We need to still stamp this. So I'm going to grab our Granny Apple Green, if I figure out where I left it. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that. Stamp happy birthday. Now the happy birthday, it's a little crooked. That's a lot crooked. 2 sides to the paper is from Celebrate You. Let me try to line this up so I don't have a crooked happy birthday. Much better. We're going to close this up for just a few minutes till we're ready for it. So we're going to put these 2 pieces on first. Like that. This one goes on like this. Okay, so we have other pieces that need to be glued together. So we're going to go ahead and do the front panels now. The front panels, there's 2 black pieces that are 2 inches by 5 3/8. And there's 2 pieces of DSP that are 3 3/4 by 1 1/8, or 5 1/8, sorry. I'm getting all the pieces ready. It's sometimes easier before you assemble a card to make sure you've got all the basic pieces put together and ready to go. And then the card will just go together very quickly. Just like that. So we got the front pieces made. Next we have, gotta make sure I have the pieces correct here now. That's for the front and the front. Okay, these 2 black pieces go inside the card, and they are 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. Then there is some green that goes inside the card, which is 2.5 by 2.5. I just did this backwards. The black goes on top of this. So, I have too much off to the side. Let's see here. what to do with my mistake. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cut another piece. If you had something else to put that on, that would be great, but I don't. We're supposed to put the glue on the black, not the green. So let me grab some granny apple green. Sometimes you just make a mistake. And just because I'm a demonstrator doesn't mean I make mistakes, because I do all the time. Because I'm a human being. So this needs to be 2, what did I say that was supposed to be? 2.5 by 2.5. Now, if you notice, I cut at the bottom. I do most of my measuring and cutting at the bottom because it's easier for me to line up and see. And I always said, always put things where it works for you. So, glue goes on the black, not on the green. And normally you would just use that because you would be sticking it on something that you could do that. But when you see how these get hooked into the card, you could not have glue all over the back of it. If it was just going on the card directly, it would have been fine, but it's not. So then we have 2 pieces of white that are 2.25 by 2.25, and these are for our owls. Now the front of the card has a couple other pieces, and we'll go over the front of the card in a minute. Now, to help save some time, I've already done one of the owls. So we will mount him. I didn't figure you needed to see me color 3 owls. So you're only going to watch me color 1. So there's one of our owls. So we're going to grab our Memento and grab my stamp, and we're doing the lovely owls, the adorable owls. This is the one that's like he's flying. And we're going to prop him right in the center, just like that. And then on the bottom of this one, I want to stamp, "It's Your Day." Now this is the same verse as I'm putting on the envelope, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the envelope too. We'll stamp the envelope, and then we're going to stamp him down in this corner here, just like that. We'll get that out of the road, and then we're going to color. Now these colors I have out here are all the colors that I used on the all of the owls. Now this one I used gray granite, oh no, smoky slate on this one, and I've already done the one for the front, and he's gray granite. So I left them out so I remember to put all the colors down. So I'm not going to bring out all the colors. I'm only bringing out the colors I need. And all I need for this one is crumb cake. And we are going to color the dark crumb cake first. Do the back side of his ear. Like I said, I'm not doing blending per se. I am using these for strictly coloring purposes. And you can get real fancy and blend all these different details into them if you wanted. But I am just coloring to be coloring. Personally, I think my favorite color for these is smoky slate or gray, or crumb cake are my 2 favorite colors for coloring the owls, I think. And we're just gonna go, I guess I could move this in a little bit so you could actually see what I'm doing. I said I'm not the world's greatest colorist, except on my tablet when I'm playing with the coloring app. That's become when I could be a masterpiece, because Thursdays is the day the coloring app gives us paintings that are done by famous artists. And I love doing them on Thursdays. It's the only day they give it to you in that coloring app. So this is dark pumpkin, or dark daffodil delight. I'm using on his beak. I'm using light pumpkin on his little legs. And then I am using light granny apple green. I'm using the small nib. I'm going around the outside part of his eyes. And then I'm going to use the dark. There's the little dot there, and I'm going to put a little bit of dark in that. And then his eyes, you can use two things. If you have a black Stampin' Write marker, that works great, or a black gel pen. I have both. I'll show one on each eye. Just use the fine tip on there and darken his eyes. And it really, if you can, let's see if they can get this a little closer. You can tell it makes a really big difference. And this one I'm going to do with the gel pen. Both work, but they give some definition to make those eyes really pop. So now we have him ready to go on. Let me move this back out. And he's going to go on there. So now we have all the pieces for the inside. Now we need the outside, which is this cute little owl. He's got clips of coral for his hat. He is light pumpkin both places, and then the granny apple green. They all have the granny apple green. He has a balmy blue tie. Now this is a piece of basic white that is 2 by 2 3/4. This is, oh, and this was the one that I colored him on. We don't need it. This is a piece that is 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. And here is a piece of granny apple green that is 2 1/4 by 3. So we are going to adhere him on. And you see, I stamped him wrong last night. There's always 2 sides to the paper, guys. And then on to the granny apple green. Okay, now, oh, I didn't get enough glue right there. Okay, now we have all the pieces to our card, except for our ribbon. Now, I've already dyed this because I wanted to make sure it was good and dry. We have granny apple green woven ribbon. What I used was open weave pale papaya. It's a very light color, which means you can color it just like white ribbon, any color you want. I was looking for ribbon to use with this. I could have used white, the right crinkle, and I was like, I really want something a little sturdier than the white crinkle ribbon. And I looked at the pale papaya and said, boy, Lori, it's expiring in April and you've got 5 rolls. I thought maybe I should try to do something else with it, i.e. I colored it. And all you have to do, I'm going to grab me a piece of scratch paper. Make sure you have scratch paper down because this is open weave and ink will go right through. And I'm going to grab balmy blue this time, just to show you. Grab my big nib. I'm going to tear off this, cut off this. Oop. I've got to spin. Oop. I spun my whole thing around the wrong way. my snips here. I don't have it quite sitting where I normally do. It's hitting the monitor when I spin it. So take the side and your ribbon. Now, I found that this one you do need to make sure you get in the center. And since it does go through to a certain extent, but if you really wanted the blue color, you need to do both sides, or the green or crystal coral. But that is balmy blue. So if you have some ribbon, you see the blue, it's a little darker, but not much, and it looks really good with it. So if you have, like I said, the blue does bleed through. If you have some light color ribbon and you don't have the color you want, try a piece. Just take off a little piece and try it. If it doesn't work, you're not out anything. Just a small hunk of ribbon. But maybe it was going to work and it's going to give you a different look on your card. Okay, so let's assemble this thing. So we have our 2 score lines, so we're going to burnish those. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and stick the inside in first. Yes, that bottle of glue I was dealing with on Wednesday is been officially buried in the garbage can. This one's on his last leg, but I have more. Always have lots of glue. So that's going to go on there like that. Now we're not putting the back on yet. We're going to put the 2 side panels on first for the front. And with that, with that Dandy Design paper, there is so many colors in there you can play with. And I put the black. I was debating about the black. I thought about using just white, and I thought, no, the black would make that green really pop. And then I did it with coral, and you try it with the balmy blue or the fresh freesia. It look really nice. Line those up. Just like that. So that's the base part of the card. Next, we're going to hook the inside pieces in. So, yeah, everybody back up. There's 2 pieces here. And we're going to flip this sort of backwards. So this is the 1 inch score line, 2 inch score line. Let me move it closer. Oop. Okay. Got the 1 inch score line, 2 inch score line, and 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and burnish those. We're going to do that on both of them. Okay. So we have 2 little pieces that look like that. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the first one on, and it's going to be the flying one. In this piece here, we're going to attach this. It's just going to come to barely to the edge on both of those, okay? And we want it in the middle. So you can use glue. I'm going to try to use my new friend here. Oop. Like I said, we're trying to get along. And then what you want to do is try to line this up as centered as possible in there. So I've got it right there, so I can see I've got about 1.5 inches square. And then right on, I've got the fold line right on my line on my grid paper. So we're going to hook him in like that. This is the 4 1/4. Oh, sorry. I'm out of there. I hooked him in right in the line here, between the 2 lines. This is the 4 and there's the 2 piece score lines on this side. This one here, we're going to put this in up here. You want to make sure that you don't go past. I just want it basically, I'm lining mine up with the black, the top of my black here. And you want this piece to come over right over to the fold lines, but make sure it closes. And then you're going to use either Tear or Seal Plus. I'm going to use glue. Like I said, I'm trying to get used to using Seal, but we're not quite there yet. It's good for some things. You want to hold that for just a second. Make sure it adheres. Then you're going to open this up like this. Push that down. You're going to fold this way. So you got, looks like this now. Oh, hang on. I got to zoom it back out. Looks like this. So there's our two pieces. You're only putting glue on the very first piece. Then you're going to take and close this, just like this. Oh, sorry. Put it underneath, sorry. Put it underneath, so it's like, looks like that. Fold it down and hold it. And now he pops up. You want to make sure that you don't go above here. In the bottom one, you don't go below here. So let's hook the other one in, and I'll keep the camera here. So this time when we put in, our 4 is going to be on this side, and our 1 and 2 pieces are on this side, just the opposite. So I'm going to put some tape in here. And then let me get in here so you guys can see it. I'm putting these fold lines right on my grid paper here. So I know that I'm square, and I know that I have about 1.5 squares on either side of him. So I know he's right in the center. Okay, then we're gonna take this one here. Make sure I've lined it up at the bottom. Make sure this will still close. Put my glue and close it for a second. Then we're going to flip this over this way and only put glue on the first piece. And then we're going to flip this back over and close it down. And wait just a second. Like that. And then we have our 2 owls. Oh, I did not wait long enough. Hang on. That's why I need to wait a second longer, sorry. So if you're using glue, you've got to give it a minute longer. Let's make sure he's gonna stay there. Okay, so they're that like that, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and close him up for a moment. And we're not putting the back on quite yet. What we want to do is put our ribbon on. I'm going to grab some tear and tape. And I'm going to do it this way so I can see where I'm at. Oh, right in the middle, I'm putting a piece of tear and tape. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to look. That is the front of my card and that's the top. I'm flipping it so the top is closest to me. And I'm putting my ribbon on here. But I'm leaving a little more ribbon on that side than this side. It's got to go around and I want to tie it on this side. Okay? So I know this is the top of my thing. So I'm going to glue this on just like this. This is where I made the mistake last night. And you know, once you glue something in, it's hard to get it back out. Especially it was like 5 minutes because I went and did something, came back and realized I did it backwards. So there's that. He's still going the right way. Now it's time to do the front. Now we're going to put him on, these guys on. They're going the right direction. And we only want to put dimensionals on this side here. So I want to put 2 dimensionals here and 2 here. I want to make sure there's nothing in the center because I want my ribbon to go through the middle. So I leave it on my work so I know where the crease is there. And I just put an angle just to give it a little more stability. I'm going to take this ribbon and pull it through. And it doesn't want to stay. If somebody's not cooperating, you know my rule. Grab a block. It's another pair of hands. I'm going to push this in and center this up in here. This paper has lines on it, so it does help center it really nicely. Push that down. So here's the inside and the back. And then we come over here and tie a little ribbon, a little bow. Now your ribbon will be a little stiffer when you do the blends, but it still ties really nicely. And it looks very nice on there too. And the ribbon will not hold it all the way closed. Just like a belly band, it doesn't hold it all the way closed. But it does a fair job of at least keeping things together, okay? Finally, I needed something on there. So I got some black matte dots, the little ones. There's big ones and little ones, and I grabbed little ones. Just sort of put them around him. He's a shy little looking owl, isn't he? Not sure if that's the cat. Nope, that's too long to be the cat here. I have to blame myself. Oh, up here or down here? Oh, we'll put him right here. I just put 3 little black dots on there to finish up the card. So that is our little owl floating card. I'm not going to open this one up again because he's the same, he's just a different color. And so we got these cute little floating owls. So thank you for joining me. Want to tell you all have a wonderful weekend. And please either comment in this video or send me an email and let me know if you are interested in seeing how I built my holders for my supplies. If I don't have anybody interested, I'm just going to do it off air by myself and not show anybody. But I think you would enjoy it. So let me know, and remember to like, share, and subscribe, and help me out in YouTube world so we can get this channel to grow. You know, once we get 1,000 viewers, we can start doing lives where you can give input as I work. So that would be something to look forward to. So thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.